morning, we are live, and it's do or die playoff hockey action on ASTV tonight. I'm Sean Mullen along with David Zammit. As we just heard from Terry Pavley, the season is on the line for the Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats, down 2-1 in the series against the Regina squad, the Rebels, in a series that has been controlled by the home team so far, David. Slightly more decisive wins for Regina on home ice. Swift had to win their game in overtime in Game 2. But we've been saying this since the beginning of the series. You're not really in trouble till you lose at home. However, it takes with it a little extra emphasis tonight because a loss at home not only means you're in trouble in the series, it means the season's over.
Yeah, exactly. And something Swift Current's not going to want to face at all at the end of the season coming, especially on home ice in a series that they've been there in most of the games, but just haven't been able to come up with the offense, especially on the road. Only 1 goal in 2 games on the road. Obviously, the 3 goals here, including 1 in overtime to win Game 2. This series between the two teams this year is now split at 4 apiece. So very even that way, where Swift Current won 3 of the 5 in the regular season. But obviously, they don't care about that stat right now. They're more focused on extending their season, sending it back to the provincial capital for a Game 5 later this week. And it's going to be interesting to see how Swift Current creates some offense. 4 goals in 3 games is obviously not what they're used to this season. So it's going to be a test for them offensively, see if they can get something going. Now, it was Sorensen that got the start in Game 3 for the Rebels. Be interested to see. I'm sure she'll be out here today. She had a 30-save shutout the other night, so I'd imagine they'll stick with her over Slamp, who's 1-1 in this series, where on the other side of the puck, the Wildcats are going to stick with Carly Lehner, who's been spectacular all season, won Rookie of the Year in the league, and she's been really good for Swift Current, and she was tied for the league lead in wins with 13. So when you need a win, she's found the wins for the team this season.
And you know, the reality right now, you look at the difference between the two teams point-wise in the standings, and you might say to yourself, well, you know, Regina was the favorite. Regina's had the more decisive wins on home ice in Games 1 and 3. But the big picture of this series between these two teams, as you said, regular season and playoffs, it's now tied at 4 wins apiece. Each team has managed some more decisive victories. Each team has had games where they're able to put up 3-4 goals. So those 2 games in Regina are not completely reflective of how these teams match up. There's been some very close games. Both these teams have had success against one another at different times this season. Ultimately, they're very evenly matched. They play a very different style of hockey. They have different types of lineups, but they're very evenly matched teams. So this could very easily be a Game 5 in Regina. But when it's one game, when it's 60 minutes between evenly matched teams, whether it's 2-1 or 3-0 or 1-2, any team, if they play their game the right way, can come away with the win. It could be the end of the season for the Wildcats today. It could be a Game 5, and neither result would be particularly surprising given how tightly contested these teams are.
Another surprising or not surprising outcome would be us headed to overtime. I mean, 3 of the 8 games combined regular season and playoffs have gone to overtime, where the Wildcats have actually won all 3. So they've been favored the longer the games have gone on. They've obviously found the answer later in time in games to pick up the crucial victories, and obviously the crucial victory in Game 2 to get us to Game 4 here today. But Swift Current's really going to have to dig in here and start to manufacture some goal support for their goaltender, Carly Lehner. And
here they come onto the ice. The Wildcats are ready. A team that all season long has been playing playoff-style hockey. Plays the biggest playoff-style game here this evening with the season on the line. And Terry Pavley has described that to us at a number of occasions, David. That's the way the Wildcats have played. They don't win a lot of games 5-1, 6-0, 7-2. They're in games to the end typically, so they're used to this type of battle. And they're going to have to be resilient mentally and physically in a game like this with all that's at stake.
The longer they can drag Regina into the fight and make it a grueling, tough matchup where it's tight, right down to the wire, it favors the Wildcats, even though it's just almost a puck luck at that point, and you know, your 50% chance, but the Wildcats want that, whereas if Regina can get out in front, then Swift's really in trouble because they're chasing the game. They can't really play their game, which is just stay tight to the opponent, and you'll get you're going to work hard and you're going to get the chances at the end and probably prevail. But
the other thing, though, I will say is neither team, because of the last two playoffs being canceled, have faced a do-or-die scenario yet in their 18 and under AAA careers. And I think to that degree it favors Regina only because of the experience that neither has, and so Swift has that monkey on their back right now.
now, just to go back to your
to clarify what I mean by that, monkey on the back is not the right term, but I was catching up to the anthem there. But what I'm saying is, because neither team has faced a do-or-die game at this level before, because of the last two playoffs being canceled, it's an advantage for Regina because Swift is facing the kind of pressure they have not faced for any of them at this level in this type of situation. And Regina still has life no matter what happens tonight. So how do they handle that pressure?
Neither team has actually even really faced the pressure other than Swift Current going down 1-0 in the Battleford series, but they quickly responded and kind of reverse swept it. So that was very short-lived, I guess, the pressure that would have been on Swift Current there.
And we're underway in a quick pick-off and shot to the net by Watain, and that's cleared out by Regina.
And this is going to be critical for Swift Current to come out and maybe push the pace and get some chances early.
Rubley works it to Hansen. She got knocked down on the forecheck by Regina's Flynn. Puck comes to Thompson. Tried to get that to Keller. She deflects it, chases into Regina territory, right corner, drops. Thompson shooting. That's off the skate and high. Nice drop pass there after Keller won that puck. That was a well set up play as the puck's dumped behind the Swift Current net. Picked up there by Regina's Hayhurst. She moves it behind the goal, off the stick of Grice. Digging with it now, Petford. One of the most dangerous players in this league. Petford, side of the goal, trying to jam that one in there. Wasn't able to get a shot on Lehner. Clearing attempt doesn't get out. Swan whacks at it. Comes now to Swift Current's Jessica Buffard. Behind the net, Perlinger. Back up the wall for Swan. Swan lost the handle on it. Perlinger followed up. She lost it. Buffard blocks a shot, and she'll stick handle her way out of the zone. Gets a lane, moves it up for Swan, but she doesn't have a shooting lane herself. Trying to move it down to the corner.
Somebody's getting a penalty. I don't know who, though.
Yeah.
Regina. Is that?
Might be.
It looks like it.
Looks like it.
I didn't even see what the call was.
Well, we'll hear. It's Regina's Brick Roots. It's in the box, and so a really good early opportunity for Swift Current to work the man advantage. Wildcats with the draw win. Body contact is a penalty. Perlinger lost the handle at the line, and that'll be whistled for the offside.
Now, this is actually kind of a telling power play unit that's out there for Swift Current right now is McNinch, Metzger, and Perlinger just had long shifts, and they're right back out there. So really shows you what kind of maybe lines we might see from Terry Pavley today with Swift Current's season on the line.
Well, the second unit has a couple of players who are on that ice at the same time.
You're not wrong. In
Buford and Swan.
Yeah,
so.
It's kind of one or the other, right?
Some tired players we're going to have to get out there. Typically, the power play shouldn't tax you as much as 5-on-5 play. But here's Keller down the right wing side. Behind the net for Watane. McNinch. Watane. Down low to Keller. Oh, she tried to go to McNinch, and McNinch was headed towards the slot. Miscommunication there, and the Wildcats will make a change. 57 seconds remaining on their power play.
So to go back to a point I made earlier, and I'm completely wrong on it, the Rebels have gone with Peyton Schlamp in goal after Sorensen put up a shutout the other night. So kind of interesting. You don't see that often where, unless you plan on a back-to-back, you actually almost never see it. The goaltender gets a shutout and isn't in the next game.
We'll see if that decision ends up paying off or not for Regina. I mean, they clearly have been able to rely on both goaltenders throughout the season. And they're showing confidence in Schlamp. Wildcats win the puck. Here's Georgette. Threw it off the side of the goal. That's whacked to the line and will get out. Not much on this power play. They've been a little out of sorts on it. And this is where you watch for the effect of pressure, right? The season on the line here. As the game goes along, you get a little bit of the hiccups with the puck on your stick. As Swan gains the line and can't get further.
It's not like these players don't understand what's at stake here, right? They obviously know how vital each play they make is today.
On so many, Wildcats will move on to play at the school level, but
they don't want to worry about that yet, right?
No, and it's not like the NHL where there's a hard check and that's going to be another penalty to Regina. That was a two-hander knocking down the captain Metzger, and so right back to the power play for Swift Current.
That Gottslig looks like it, and she picked up a couple of penalties in game 2 here as well. So
I was going to say, it's, you watch an NHL team lose in the playoffs and you think, well, those guys will be out there again next year and have another shot at it. I mean, for a number of these players, this is it. This is the potentially last game they'd play as a Wildcat.
The majority of the team for Swift Current, actually.
There's a big shot block on Perlinger's attempt to the net. Here's Henderson racing to it, trying to cut across the front, and Perlinger got back in time. A dangerous shot block there. Watane's away. 20-goal scorer in the regular season. Her path is blocked. Keller forces it in. Now McNinch is on it. Nice job by Swift to gain the line there when it didn't look like they could. And McNinch will set things up and slow things down. Pass it off to Keller. Back to the line, Metzger. She'll shoot it. That's blocked. Deflects to the corner to McNinch. Trying to avoid the pressure. Gets some help now from Watane. She'll cut back. Works it to the point for Metzger. Over to Keller. Keller down to McNinch. She'll cut out. Centers it. Oh, my. It was right there for the captain. Metzger had an empty side of the net, but couldn't get good stick on that puck.
Two really good reads there. One by McNinch to realize Metzger was going back door there, and obviously a good read on Metzger to realize that there was a ton of open ice there where she could slide into and get that chance. Obviously ended up fanning on, or else it would be a 1-0 game for the Wildcats.
Really couldn't knock that deep. That's cleared. 38 seconds left on the second consecutive Wildcats power play, but still only 2 shots on net for Swift. Their best look, that pass to Metzger that skipped over her stick. Rubley gets it up to Swan down the right side. Swan enters, protects the puck well. Nice job by Swan. Doesn't force it. She'll wrap around with the puck. Still has it, and now lost the handle out to the neutral zone. Buford gets it back to Swan. She'll enter the zone. Had her stick lifted, and that's cleared back the length of the ice once more. And that'll do it for the Wildcats power play. A very effective penalty kill for Regina the first 2 times out here. And I do think to some degree, as the series goes along, it favors the penalty kill as they get to know your tendencies on the power play. And Regina certainly seemed to know what Swift had coming.
Yeah, they really, other than that backdoor chance, didn't give up anything high danger at all. And, I mean, that's not a high danger chance because it didn't even formulate. So
I know the Wildcats are going to want to get more rubber on goal. I mean, you don't want to just throw it away, but only 2 shots on net in the first 7 minutes of this game, despite 2 power plays. Won't be enough as it's covered up with 13:02 to go in the first and no score yet in Game 4.
Knowing when Swift's at their best, go back to how they played in the third period and overtime here where the ice was more than tilted. They were getting a pile of chances, but they were shooting the puck a lot. And they weren't just shots either. They were really good shots, high-quality chances. As we're talking about shots, and there's Perlinger with a hard shot from the point, but right into Slam's breadbasket, and she just hangs on to it. So Regina will give that up all game. There's no traffic. There's no rebound.
This time Regina wins the draw. Battle for the puck in the corner. And forced out. Bouffard tried to clear, and Hetford right on her. Moved up the wall now. That got stuck. McNinchin trying to grab it, and they'll get that to the line. It does get out, comes right back in. Regina had to reset. Bouffard, or Metzger, just deflects it to center, and that's wristed back into Wildcat territory. Pass by Perlinger deflects to McNinch. She picks it up in stride. Gains the line, right wing side. Georgette headed to the net. A shot. That'll be gobbled up and held by Schlamp. In the playoffs, Schlamp is 4-1 with a 1.15 goals against average, .954 save percentage. Lehner is 2-2 with a 2.14 goals against average, .927 save percentage. So either way, excellent goaltending. Puck held in by the Wildcats. Georgette trying to get to it. Followed up. Here's a chance. Backhand towards the net and wide by Appel. And cleared. That one gets away from Wingert. 11:38 to go. First period. Nice job by Appel to force the turnover there. And a big collision. 2 players. Wingert for Swift Current and Henderson, I believe, for Regina. Maybe it was Mance.
You're right.
Yeah, it was Mance. Yeah. They collide inside Regina territory. Both down in the ice, and I have to imagine winded a little bit. Rubley up the middle for Thompson. That hit her in the skates, though. Following up, Appel cleared it. Now Thompson's got it. Over to Rubley. She's got a lane to center. Gets it into Regina territory, not deep as they're trying to change. There's Jones for Swift. Up for Thompson. Thompson rips it across center. That's a turnover. In for Regina now, Girard. And Maya Girard will dump it behind the net. Schmidt got a stick on it there for the Rebels. Battle for the puck, left corner, Swift Current territory. Finally comes loose, back to the line. Slap shot, blocked, good block by Jones. Thompson grabs it. Good patient cross ice feed. And away goes Watane. She'll gain the line, and it's held up. Oh, right in front of the official. They'll let that one go as Watane was certainly held up, and now she'll rip it to the net. A one-timer and a left pad save made by Schlamp.
If anyone was in front there, though, that would have really benefited Swift. That one-timer came really far out into the slot area.
Here she is again, a hard, high wrister by Swift Current's leading goal scorer, Jersey Watane, and blocker out of play by Peyton Schlamp. And Watane starting to get the shooter's mentality the Wildcats need with 9:56 to go in the first. No score, but shot 6-1 Wildcats.
Maybe the power plays weren't exactly what you were looking for Swift Current, but other than that, the start's been terrific. I haven't noticed any of the top players for Regina get any great chances, and you're 10 minutes into this game. That's a spectacular scene to see if you're Swift Current here.
Draw in and a shot well wide of the net from Bouffard, hoping for a redirection that didn't come. Nice job by McNinch, stealing it in the neutral zone. Bouffard back in, right wing side. Slides it behind the Regina goal. McNinch is on it. Bouffard follows up to help. McNinch gets knocked down. Puck comes to Swan. Swan digging for it. McNinch is on that. Makes a move. Swan follows it up. Pass that off. Metzger back to the line. Held in by Bouffard. Penalty coming again to Regina. Good cycle work here by Swift as the puck is touched up. And the Rebels are going to be shorthanded again. And I'm getting a bit of a flashback here to game number 2 in Swift, where Regina took 6 of the first 8 penalties in that game. And then Swift took the next 4 before an overtime power play goal lifted the Wildcats to that OT win.
In Swift's 4 were all in the third, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
So it was kind of a wild one, and Swift Current's going to take what they're getting right here, but they're going to want to start to capitalize on one of these.
Second unit out here for Swift. Comes to Bouffard. Keeps that one in, but passed it to a covered player, and that got cleared. 20 seconds already killed off. The third Swift Current power play of this game. Rubley feeds it for Swan. He'll gain the line. Dropped it to Bouffard. She's pressured, and Regina clears. Regina almost more effective defensively on the penalty kill right now as they're able to happily just clear the puck. Oh, almost a turnover there by Rubley. Followed up by Georgette. Ahead for Keller. Keller chips it in and chases. Keller shoots one from a tough angle. Grabs her own rebound as the remainder of the power play changes. Now McNinch has it. Wrist shot, missed the net, and bounced away from Metzger before she could hold it in. It's followed up, though, by Watane. She got bodied off the puck. Sent up the wall by Johns. Held in. Perlinger, middle of the point shooting. Well wide of the net. Knocked down by Watane. She'll collect. Curl out. Shoots low. Rebound. And McNinch can't get a full handle for the shot. Perlinger shot it wide. The rebound comes to McNinch off the wall. Back to the line. Perlinger again. Pressured. Over to Metzger. Back across. McNinch got it to the net but had her stick hit. And that's cleared out with 20 seconds left on the best Wildcat power play so far in this game.
Especially that sequence.
Here's Perlinger. Trying to take advantage of that momentum. Skates it back up. Drives the net. Perlinger gets the shot. And that's caught and held by Slam. Swift up to a 10-1 shot advantage with 5 seconds left in their third power play of the period, but still have not been able to solve Peyton Schlam.
That was a really key cover there by Schlam because McNinch was right there on the doorstep looking for the rebound. And Swift Current's been really good on this power play. They've got several chances so far.
Draw deep inside Regina territory. Appel trying to force it ahead. That'll come back to the line. Rubley a shot. Blocker save into the corner by Schlamp. Well directed as it's followed up by Wingert in the corner. Now Appel. We're back to 5-on-5. At the line, Hansen a drive. Hits off the stick of Regina's Nikita Schmidt and wide of the net. Now Hansen can't hold that one in, and it's back down into Swift Current territory.
It's a really good shot by Rubley to get through to the net there.
Regina survives 3 early penalty kills with a scoreless tie. Back in comes Wingert. Right wing side. Sends it behind the Regina net. Oh, and a little miss there. Allows Swift to regain the puck. Wingert again. Trying to keep the cycle going. Down to Appel. She's pressured hard behind the goal by Grice. And Regina comes up with the puck. Away come the Rebels. Grice has a lane to center and wrists that one into Swift Current territory. 6:23 to go in the first. No one has struck yet. Grice on it. Knocked away from her by Rubley. Ahead now for Urich. And Urich's got some room. She'll gain center. Price will chase the dump in. After it behind the net. Price scored a huge goal against the Battlefords earlier in the playoffs. Couldn't keep that play going. Cleared out to center. Bouffard on it. Banks it ahead for Urich. She'll swat it deep. Slammed out of her net. Leaves it there for Gottslet. Up the wall and room to clear. The Rebels will have a path, but still dump it in from behind center. It hit Swift Current's Perlinger, so no icing. Banked ahead, just out of the reach of Price. At center, grabbed by Henderson. She'll drop it back. Skating ahead with it now is Johns. Gains the Swift Current line, played it to the corner. Perlinger's on that. Two players coming at her. Up the wall for McNinch. Some room for her. Up to Perlinger. Knocked off her stick. The chip back deep for Regina. And chased by Flynn. Bouffard up the wall. Here's Swan. Off the glass. Off a glove. Held in at the line by Nimigears. Swan's on it again. Drop back to Perlinger. Flicked off the glass up to Swan. McNinch away. Tried to go cross ice. That doesn't get across to Kerwin. Regina gets it back. Pass to the Swift Current line. Bouffard has it. She'll bank that ahead. Doesn't get to Metzger. Swan swats it ahead. Now Swan again. Slap shot. Oh, that hurt. A hard slap shot blocked by Alexis Petford, and she's shaking her right hand in some significant discomfort as she heads off for a line change. And that's something to watch. Regina's leading offensive weapon. Alexis Petford takes a hard Swan slap shot up the right hand. We'll see if she's all right.
She's still shaking it on the bench. That's not a good sign if you're Regina at all. Is, like you said, Sean, top point getter, and it actually wasn't even close. She's the top point getter, and arguably maybe the only reason Regina won Game 3. I mean, she scored 3 of their 4 goals. So
at the line, Thompson throws it to the net. Oh, a redirection by Keller, and Schlamp adjusts very well for the save. And the play whistled down, a penalty against Swift right afterwards. Rubley headed to the box. So from almost finding a way to deflect the puck underneath Schlamp to shorthanded for the first time, the Wildcats out shooting Regina 12-1, nothing to show for it. 3:58 to go in the first, and now shorthanded.
Petford's back on the ice, so it can't be that bad.
No.
But just to go back to that, that's a tough penalty for Rubley to take because the ice was very much in favor of Swift Current until this. I mean, Regina's had nothing to this point.
Good blocker save there by Lehner, who has not seen any kind of real shot up till then for this whole period, which is tough, as that's centered by Petford, looking for the deflection by Henderson. Henderson's on it. Collects at the right point. Over to Johns in the middle. Johns shooting! That's off Lehner's glove. Into the corner. Perlinger on it, and she'll clear that the length of the ice. Moved to center ice. Hansen tried to feed that back ahead to Wingert. Great battle by Wingert as Metzger blew a tire at the Regina line, but she's back into the play.
That was key by Wingert to kind of prolong the Regina entry because, like you said, Metzger was stuck in the Regina end as she was getting up.
Hayhurst behind the net, bothered by Bacchus. Hansen's on it, throws it to the line, held in. Nimigears shooting, stop, the rebound is there, and Swift's able to direct that to the corner. Good presence by Bacchus. Nimigears passed it. Hayhurst top of the slot, shooting off a glove and wide. 30 seconds left in the Regina power play. Played back now to Petford. Out to the top of the slot, Nimigears, shot blocked by Metzger. The bench liked that one. Followed up by Henderson. Petford shooting, stick save made by Lehner, who's making up for the period without saves. Stepping up here as the Wildcats are going to take another penalty with 9 seconds left in the initial penalty to Rubley. And now, with 2:07 to go in the period, Regina will essentially be on the power play for the rest of the first unless they score. And
that's got to be
a nightmare scenario after dominating the first 16 minutes for Swift Current with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, I mean, Regina calling time out?
No, I think the penalty box had a question.
But yeah, beyond more than a nightmare scenario for Swift.
5 seconds before the 5-on-3's over. Regina trying to strike quick, big time save made by Lehner on Petford at a key time as that's fired ahead for Rubley. Oh, and in came Jersey Watane, but Rubley was offside as she tried to pass to Rubley. And really, when you look at that again, you'll see that it was probably safer for Watane just to try to walk in as Rubley was covered.
She would have created a 2-on-1 because Rubley could have waited at the line for it, but in the moment, it's tough to always make that call and know exactly what's going to happen.
Here's Watane, who's been very dangerous on the PK, threw that off the side of the net. We saw Swift get extremely aggressive on the penalty kill in the third period of Game 2. And that was a big factor in pushing the momentum in their favor at that stage. With 1:20 now to go on the power play, 1:26 left in the period. Regina, Nimigears. Here now is Ali Gerard to the net. Petford's rebound blocked by Bouffard. Almost a period's worth of shots here for Regina. Ripped to the net by Petford. Blocker saved by Lehner. Bouffard can't clear it. Shot comes to Petford again. Centers it. Another chance for Bouffard to get it out. And this time she will, as down the stretch we come in the first. Only 54 seconds left in the period.
Did Regina have one shot, like 3 minutes ago?
One. And great job by Thompson there to steal that away and get it deep.
Now they have 9.
8 shots on 3 minutes of power play time here for Regina.
Ridiculous.
Good speed into the zone from Hayhurst. She'll work that back to the line. Schmidt has it, left point. Hayhurst, top of the point. Work that down low, looking for Petford, who's been out basically 4 straight minutes. Schmidt back to the right side. A shot. Blocker save again by Lehner. They're looking blocker side, and she's been strong there. Bryce trying to curl that out front. Rubley blocks her. 10 seconds left in the period. Held in just barely by Carpin. Played to the corner. Rubley tries to clear again. Keller will get that out. Moved it up for Metzger, but that was too late as we hit the buzzer. And a solid job by Swift to kill off those back-to-back power plays, especially from goaltender Carly Lehner, who didn't see one single scoring chance against her in the first 16 minutes of that period, and then had to face 9 shots in 2 consecutive Regina power plays, including some very good looks from some very good scorers, forcing Lehner, who was probably ice cold at that point, to suddenly respond in a big way when her team desperately needed her to. Having dominated that period without a goal, to give up one late there would have been devastating emotionally. And that's why you need your goalie to step up, and Carly Lehner did in a massive way in those last 4 minutes.
Well, I was never a goalie when I played hockey. I was a forward, so I can't comment on how hard that would be to stand there for, well, it would even be longer than that. It would be more like 25 minutes.
Right. And the one shot was a dump in from center.
Exactly.
I saw it. Like, there was no scoring chance, no real shot against her all period up to that point.
So how hard is that? And then all of a sudden, you have, I don't know, maybe 5 of the best players provincially bearing down on you, and Petford, Hayhurst, Gerard, Henderson, Nimigears, like you go down the list.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, it's like they're shot out of a cannon, and it's literally rapid fire in front of you for the next 4 straight minutes. And all you're trying to do is just keep the score at 0-0 because the goaltender at the other end was very good when she was tested, and Swift Current certainly tested her.
Well, so I think you have to say, though, from that sequence of action for Regina, they did get the puck to the net a little more effectively than Swift did on their 3 power plays. Swift, in their third man advantage, I think, moved the puck way better, but they had more missed nets. Regina absolutely directed to the goal better during the time they had.
I don't know if they really missed the net on any of their chances. Like, it seemed like everything was on the net. Now, one good thing is Swift didn't give up a key rebound in front of the net. Everything that Lehner stopped was either bounced over to the side or out of the harm's way kind of deal.
Or there was a D there. Like, there was one play where I remember Tess Bacchus had a puck come right around her feet off a low shot, and she was able to move that to the corner fast. But it's a period where, if you're the Wildcats, you're really happy how you played for 16 minutes outside of maybe wanting to execute sharper on your first 2 power plays. and then to come up against 2 penalties against you in the late stages, it just would have been really hard to accept giving up a goal there. And so that was such a key sequence for them. We'll take a break, come back with our first intermission coach chat, as it's a scoreless game after 20 minutes in a do-or-die Game 4. You're watching Swift Current Wildcat Hockey on ASTV.
At CM Engrave, we create more than just trophies, medals, and signs. We create time. Time for family. Time for growing your business. Time for the moments that make you, you. With more than 30 years experience for all your engraving needs. CM Engrave.
Sean Mullen, David Zammit, back live here in Swift Current at Fairview Arena, where the Swift Current Wildcats and the Regina Rebels are scoreless after one in Game 4 of their semi-final series in the 18 and under AAA League. Regina leading the series 2-1, and Blake Both, assistant coach of the Wildcats, is with us. Before we get to the general summary of the period, how significant was it for Carly Lander to step up for you guys in the last 4 minutes? You played an excellent first 16, weren't rewarded on the scoreboard, take back-to-back penalties. She hadn't faced a single scoring chance or really a real shot to that point. And then suddenly 9 in 4 minutes. How tough is that for a goalie, and how big was it she responded that way?
Yeah, that was huge for us to get her to make those saves. That's not easy as a goalie when you're carrying the play for down in the other end and getting lots of shots. And then, you don't have any all period, and then all of a sudden, bam, like you said, you get 9. So she made those first couple ones, and now she's in the groove and can keep going from there.
So your overall thoughts, I mean, you have to be happy with the pace of play in your favor in the first 16. In general, how did you feel about the opening 20?
Yeah, special teams game again. It's kind of hard to get any flow going out there and stuff like that. Once we were in their end on the power play, we were happy with what we did. It's more just we got to get those breakouts a bit more crisp and try to get it in their end. And once we can get that, then we're good from there.
So how do you find a way to break through a little bit here? I mean, it's the $1 million question for you guys. The offense has been tougher to come upon in this series than it has been in the regular season, which it always is in the playoffs. So what are, some recipes for the Wildcats to find the net a little more right now?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to putting the puck on net and just going to the net, and hopefully something goes in. We've had lots of chances. Even last game had lots of chances, but just can't quite seem to get in the back of the net, and a little bit snake bitten maybe. But if we keep working hard and putting pucks on net, hopefully one's going to squeak through here.
Well, and you guys have mentioned the low shot a few times talking about this matchup. And, we saw a couple of great rebound looks that have come off those. Is it just got to get in their mind? You have to try to find a way to get that puck in the feet?
Yeah, I think, you got to get the puck in the feet. And when we do have an opportunity, you got to bear down and make sure that thing goes in as well.
What was the key to containing them? I know you had 6 power play minutes too, but in that first 16 minutes, that's a team with a lot of skill that didn't have a single scoring chance. What were you doing to keep them at bay over that time?
Yeah, like you said, the power play. The more we're on the power play, probably the less chances they're going to get. And at the end of the day, that's probably the main reason on that period. And same thing for them, their top kid's penalty kill. So then when they do get out on even strength, then maybe they're a bit more tired as well too when it's an even strength situation.
We talked a bit about this before the game, and I wonder your perspective, having been in the room and getting a sense of the players. I mean, none of these teams have faced elimination games at this level because the last 2 years of playoffs were canceled. What's the feel in your locker room right now? How are they handling that pressure they're facing for the first time?
Yeah, I think honestly, it feels calm in there. There's not obviously maybe a little bit of nerves going into elimination game, but just judging by our first period, I don't think that's affecting us too much. I think we're just worried about what we can do, and hopefully we end up on the right end of the result here.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Blake Voth, assistant coach of your Swift Current Wildcats. We'll be back getting set for second period action. Scoreless after 1 in Game 4 on ASTV.
At Collins Hotel, we have you and your family's comfort in mind. Relax in one of our 16 suites featuring king or queen-size beds and 36-inch TVs. Suites also include a mini fridge and other kitchen appliances to make your stay as comfortable as possible. During your stay in Pilot Mound, visit Weiser's Restaurant, our attached family-friendly restaurant and bar. It is the perfect location to host group meals, dine with the family, or unwind after a hockey game. Come in and meet our friendly staff offering daily specials on food and drinks, Wing Night Wednesdays, Buffet Fridays, and multiple TVs to watch the game. Weiser's is the place to be. Collins Hotel and Weiser's Restaurant and Bar, located across the street from Blackjack Stewart Arena off Highway 3 in Pilot Mound.
David Zammit back here at the Fairview West Arena, joined by Sean Mullen. Game between the Swift Current Wildcats and the visiting Regina Rebels, Game 4 of their second round matchup, with the winner moving on to the league final. It was a very one-sided period until Swift Current took a pair of penalties to end the period, where Regina created an entire period's worth of shots, basically, racking up 9 in the 4 minutes that they had, and 8 of them actually came within the first maybe 3 minutes of that power play. So really impressive stuff on the power play for Regina, but outside of that, Swift really controlled playing that period, and at 5-on-5 as well, because a lot of Swift's chances actually didn't come on one of their 3 power plays either. So they did a great job at creating when it was 5-on-5, and they're going to need to do a lot more of that here if they're going to want to emerge from this game and force it to a Game 5 back in Regina later this week. And be interested to see how the Wildcats come out here and see what type of pushback they can muster up after a period that was really dominated by them, but they weren't able to capitalize on their chances. So probably the biggest crowd we've seen of the season here for Swift Current, or in favor of Swift Current. Yeah, you'll cut off the camera. Teams both get set here for second period. Looks like it'll be a pair of second lines that'll be starting.
And we're off. Second period action. And as we get deeper into this game, it's self-explanatory how big the first goal is going to be, David.
Yeah, it could be maybe the only goal we see if the goaltenders are going to play like this, or at least the way they did in the first period, Sean.
That one's ripped wide by Flynn. Good opportunity right off the draw. Keller dumps it in. Thompson had that roll off her stick, followed up by Henderson down the right wing for Regina. Tried to center it. That deflects to Keller, and she'll clear that out. Fired back into Swift Current territory. Henderson will go get it. Nope. That one's icing.
Cool.
Barely.
That was really close.
Yeah, we have to say that we were joking about this. We know this angle here is a better view for anyone watching who's a Wildcat fan as Swan gets it to the net right off the draw. In our time calling these games, the great majority of Swift Current goals have been scored at the other end, so we'll see what happens. They did get the OT winner on this side.
Yeah, it seems like all year that statement that you just made, though, Sean, has been correct.
Which, I mean, 2 out of the 3 periods are played over there,
yeah,
for one. And the second has not been Swift Current's best period. Consistently, it's something they've talked about. The third's probably been their best period. The first, they've often been good. The second has quite often been a letdown, and they can't afford that here in a scoreless do-or-die game.
And it was the second period that kind of did them in Regina in Game 3. They let in a pair of goals and were outshot 20-something to a few, so it wasn't a bright period for them.
Hard to say. Sometimes these teams just have an issue at a particular time, and then it becomes mental a bit. McNinch tried to bank that ahead, and that's knocked away. Clearing attempt blocked. Swatted over now to Metzger. She tries to go up the middle. Comes to McNinch. She's 1-on-4. And eventually poked away from her by Carpet. Down the left wing side, away comes Breakroots. And it's dumped into the corner. Fired back down into Swift Current, into Regina territory. Clearing attempt. Held into the line by Bacchus.
Really good hold there by Bacchus, who caught that with her skate.
Jones keeps it in on the other side. Now Appel after it against Carpet. Quick little stick for Wingard. Appel worked it back to the line. Bacchus has a good shot. That one sails high. Jones keeps it in. Puck on the wall. And cleared. Jones dumps that back again to Regina territory. As the puck worked up the wall. And cleared down into the Swift Current zone. Hayhurst in there. Now she gets some help, courtesy of Mance. Puck cleared out by Swift. Race for it. Here's Watane. Oh, she tried a little cut. Broken up by John. Nice defensive play there. Molly Flynn into Swift Current territory. Bodied off the puck, and here's Thompson. Thompson, left wing side. Up to Watane, who threw it on the net. That'll be covered up and held for a face-off inside Regina territory. No score, 16:24 to go in the second period.
That could have been big if Watane got that. That could have been big if Watane got that there, though. She would have been in all alone on Schlamp. And that is Swift Current's best goal scorer from the regular season. So anytime you can get her loose, great chance for Swift Current. As Swan does some really good work there to get the puck.
Loose puck out front, and McNinch can't get a full handle on it to pull the trigger on it. And back the other way, the Rebels lacking in even strength scoring chances so far in this game. Get the puck to Petford. To the line. Wrist shot! And a pad save made by Lehner on the point shot by Schmidt. Petford moves it to the side of the goal. Rice passed that off. At the line, Nimegears had her shot blocked. Metzger tried to feed that ahead, hit a skate. Stays with it. Worked it up ice again for Swan, and she'll golf it deep. And try to get a change. It's the long change here. Regina counterattacking. Nimegears up ice, gets it deep, gets a change as Henderson will chase. Perlinger for Bouffard. Up the middle, there's Urich. Pokes at it. Into the zone, Price. She tried to center. That's intercepted. And Henderson got stopped at the line there by Appel. Good stick check.
I think that was just a really good change by Swift that panned out their way. It looked like Appel had just come onto the ice, and I guess Henderson didn't account for her until she was in front of her. So, but back to that, Price was going wide there, and she had Urich in front of the net on a 2-on-1 and just missed connecting with her as Swift was looking for a great chance there.
Still, though, maybe one good 5-on-5 scoring chance for Regina in this game so far. So the 5-on-5 play has definitely favored the Wildcats, but it doesn't matter as the score remains zeros. Puck swatted ahead for Regina by Gottslig. In behind the net, now Hayhurst. Pass deflects to the wall, and Maya Gerard is on that. Keep the cycle going. Henderson. That pass broken up. Swift clears. And that will be enough for an icing here. And Regina will immediately make a line change, even though Swift cannot. And we'll get a face-off deep in Wildcat territory. 14:24 to go, second period. Nobody's scored yet. Wildcats have to adjust on the face-off here. Jeez. Now Regina does. And it ends up being a kerfuffle off the draw. Georgette swing and a miss at it. Now she'll intercept the pass and cleared it out, but it's dumped right back in by Johns. No chance to change. Rubley, up the wall, Georgette. Can't get a handle on it. Held in. Hopped away from Hansen. Good forecheck. Oh, we have a Regina player down. Slow to get up and head off to the bench, I think, was Hayhurst. Georgette takes a check, gets it in, and gets the line change as Wingert goes after it. Great job there. Back up the ice now for Regina, Nimegears. And she stopped. Good defensive play on her by Bouffard. Petford gave it away. Bouffard, she'll skate with it, and she's got Metzger with her. Bouffard for Metzger. And Swan was trying to get to the net, but John's right on top of Metzger. Did a really good job anticipating that pass. Johns has been stellar defensively. Blocked a couple of really good looks for Swift. Here's McNinch. Right wing side. Shoots, and that's blocked. Who blocked it? Guess who? Johns.
It was almost like you were just talking about her defensive play, Sean.
Here's Metzger again. Leaves it for McNinch. Tries the other side for Swan, and that pass hopped off Swan's stick. Kept alive there for a moment. And now a breakaway pass for Henderson, and she can't handle it. It hops away from the sure-handed Henderson, who's already got 4 goals, 9 points in these playoffs.
She took
very
off.
Dangerous player, was wide open, and that puck just would not stay.
Yeah, she fled the zone once the Rebels got it, and she got in behind right in the center ice area, almost at the far blue line by the time she touched the puck, and she touched it very briefly. She wasn't able to handle the pass to her. That was a good pass, actually, but...
It just had a little zip, I think.
Yeah.
Battle for it on the wall. Kept alive nicely by Watane. She slides it across the front. Now Rubley a drive. Rebound. Keller right on the doorstep. Back to Rubley. Shooting. Oh, at the last second, that caught the right arm of Schlamp. She didn't see that. Thompson. Watane shooting again. And another stop by Schlamp. A series of saves as it remains scoreless with 12:01 to go in the second period. Shots 18-12 Wildcats, and 3 of them there. Right on the doorstep, Sadie Keller on a rebound chance. And the Rubley point shot, the most dangerous perhaps, as the screen resulted in Schlamp not seeing it, but still getting her right arm on it. And a quick clear by Regina there.
That was a really good shift by the second line for the Wildcats, though. Several chances in close, too. Maybe a place that they certainly want to get to here if they're going to try and crack the goose egg that's on the scoreboard. They've already got 18 shots, though. So they've certainly been getting the rubber to the net after a slow start in that category.
Bouffard starting from her own zone. Tried to go up the middle. That hopped away. Oh, it skipped off Johns' stick, and she recovered before McNinch pounced.
The sure-handed Johns almost ran into a bit of trouble there with not only McNinch, but Metzger also bearing down on her pretty quickly there.
Johns will move it across her zone to Nimigears. Swan pressuring. Nimigears clears. That'll come all the way up now to the Swift Current line where it's put deep by Ali Gerard. Up the wall. Swift can't clear. Oh, we've got a penalty coming. Regina touching the puck. It looks like head contact. So
it'll be Maya Gerard.
Maya Gerard, a product of Southwest Saskatchewan, in fact. I believe East End, if I'm remembering correctly. And the Wildcats go to power play number 4 in this hockey game. Neither team has struck yet. Good draw win by Thompson. Second unit starting this power play. Georgette to the line for Rubley. Shooting! Blocked in front. Rebound to the line. Rubley held it in. Down to Thompson. Thompson pressured. Back to Rubley. Slap shot well high and wide. Bouffard keeps it alive. That bounced away. Comes to Thompson behind the net. Here's Thompson. Open ice. Back to Bouffard. Into Thompson. Shooting. Blocked. Hops back to Rubley. Wildcat was knocked down in front. Swan. Thompson tried to follow up on it. Lost it. That got moved to center. Knocked down by Bouffard. He'll skate it back in. Onside. Nice job. Bouffard drops. Swan drives it wide. Ricochets to McNinch at the line. Fresh off the bench. McNinch curls out. Wrists it on net. And a glove save by Peyton Schlamp. With 1:01 to go in the 2-minute penalty to Maya Gerard. And 10:03 to go in the second period. Still a scoreless hockey game.
I'm not even sure how Schlamp saw that, as Watine was right on top of her. A really big save on a really sharp shooter in McNinch.
McNinch again off the draw. Has two players right on her. They want to take her away, and they do, and Petford clears it. Henderson hustling after the puck, forcing a play by Lehner. Now a long pass attempt, missed everybody, but it won't be enough for an icing. Schmidt chance to clear and had Keller right on her. Watine tried to get it to Keller, came back to Watine, and Swift keeps this alive. Sent towards the net by Perlinger. Sent across the front! Watine banging at it and can't knock it in, and that got cleared. 20 seconds to go. Another good power play now for Swift, but still have not been able to solve netminder Peyton Schlamp. Dumped in by Perlinger. They've got 8 seconds on the power play. Wristed to the line. Metzger has a little room, and her shot is blocked and kicked out. Racing after it is Ashley Grice out of the penalty box. Maya Gerard, and Grice threw that off the side of the Swift Current net. Fed back up for Watine. She can't handle it. Knocked back into Swift Current territory.
Swift Current stuck with 4 forwards on the ice here.
Metzger moves it to center. You're right. Perlinger's on it. Lost her footing. Lost the puck. Played to the line. Fresh troops for Regina. And scooped and held. Intelligent play there by Carly Lehner, allowing her team to get a line change. Swift now 0 for 4 on their power play, but their last 2 have been very good, just unable to solve Peyton Schlamp, who has been the right call from the Regina coaching staff based on the play so far.
That power play looked like a Regina power play there almost, in the quality of chances and the amount of chances they got out of the 2 minutes there. Really good to see if you're Swift Current, but tough to see if you can't get on the board, I guess, in a sense, because they've had a really good flurry of chances even to start the second period here for them.
I remember always, though, I'm always told about the power play. I always think about this. I mean, even good power plays only score about 1 in 5. So
it's true.
Hard, high shot. If you're playing well, as Swift had been heading into it, you mainly, you want to score, but you also want to, A, build momentum, and especially, B, don't want to lose it. And they wouldn't have lost any momentum from that power play.
No, and really...
that gets loose down the right wing side for Hayhurst. And she's stopped by Lehner. Wingert tried to clear, couldn't. Now Appel got that to Wingert, and she's got a little ice. Gains center, gets it deep, slides it into Regina territory for a change. 7:25 to go, second period. Still nobody has scored yet. Metzger, right wing side to Swan. She can't get it to the net. McNinch follows up. Steers it to the corner. Metzger, work that to McNinch. She'll cut back out. Metzger, backhand, blocked. And skated out of the zone by Ali Gerard and dumped down into Swift Current territory. Petford after it. Defended there by Perlinger. At the line, a shot, blocked. Came to the point again for Johns. A hard, low shot. And it deflected wide.
That was tough if you're Lehner.
Johns again, shot blocked.
The tip was redirected against the green. She was sliding one way and it was back the other way, but thankfully if you're her, it missed the net.
Big one-timer there by Petford, missed the net and caused a clear. Swift only able to get a couple of bodies to the bench. Back in, a shot. Lehner couldn't catch it, knocked it to the wall. McNinch got a stick on it, but still can't clear. Now McNinch again, ripped it across, off of Kerwin's stick. She's the fresh body, but couldn't handle the pass. Nimigers moves it across, out into Swift Current territory. Steered back to the Regina line. Broken up again, back come the Rebels, dumped in, and Lehner couldn't swallow it. Buffard tried to work that up to Kerwin. At the line, forced out. There's Price chasing after it.
So Swift Current's changed all their forwards now at least, but that D pairing's been stuck out there for a while, Sean.
Bouffard and Perlinger played big minutes, and they are tired. But Bouffard's got the puck and banks it out, and it's a 2-on-1. Price with speed and a good defensive play on Price by Regina's Amber Daly. Went right after the puck carrier. Didn't allow Price to get her head up and get the puck out front for Urich.
Now, just to go back to that Perlinger and Bouffard being stuck out there for a while, that actually does not help the Wildcats at all because they're using them in the matchup role against that Petford line. So they're going to have to maybe go out short on their next shift energy-wise just because they had to run it 2.5
Back to the
minutes.
line, it's shot wide. Gottslick had a look. You're right about that, and we'll see if they go back to them or not. Oh, they're going to wave that icing off. I don't think anyone touched it.
No, it was Keller was looking for Watain on the pass, but missed her in the center ice area.
Thompson in the corner. Keller cuts out. Puck skipped away from her on the backhand try. Watain off the end wall. Thompson tried to bank that from a tough angle. Stopped and cleared. Dumped back in by Bouffard. Thompson can't get it deep. Intercepted that time by Avery Gottslick. 4:16 to go, second period. Puck hops to Petford. She'll wrist it and high. McNinch grabs that in the neutral zone. Nice move at the line. Great move again. McNinch can't get a shot through. Terrific elusiveness by McNinch on the entry, but too many bodies in her way. And they're doubling up anytime McNinch is anywhere near the puck. Puck cleared into the Swift Current zone, and after a bit of a battle, covered up by Carly Lanner, and we'll get a draw in Wildcat territory. 3:46 to go, second period. Still no score in Game 4.
Urich out here with that top line for Swift Current instead of Swan. So it's McNinch, Metzger, and Urich. And I'm wondering if that's just one way that Terry Pavley's going to try and cycle in a couple of forwards to get them some looks instead of sending out a third and fourth line as often as he has. In just such a critical game and one that you almost cannot afford to go down in at this point, especially with the way both the goaltenders have been playing. How do you know that you're going to get one or two back if that is the case?
I mean, Swift's been a good third period team.
They have, but you don't want to bank on it, right?
No.
Especially when your season's on the line.
Shot block here. Urich trying to chase it down, and Johns gets there first. Steady Eddie on the blue line, and now she'll draw a trip, and McNinch headed off. And again, late in the period, Swift Current will call upon their penalty kill. Have not been shorthanded all second period. Another very good period for the Wildcats with nothing to show for it. And for the second straight period, it's a late penalty, which opens the door to Regina to open the scoring.
And that's not a player you want headed to the box either. It's your top center for penalty kills. Probably your best face-off.
Good chances to the net there as the Wildcats failed to clear off a draw win. Now a shot block. Puck deflects out to center. Racing for it was Winger.
Yeah.
And interference against Regina. They had two players in Winger's way, but her determination caused Regina to blow up their power play.
Gerard's arguing that one to the box, but that could have been called at the red line, never mind the blue line, because she was impeding Watain for so long. Winger, yeah. But it was almost from the blue line she started impeding her. She kept crossing in front of her just to hold her up enough. She knew that if Wingert had the straight line, Gerard was gonna be beat to the puck.
Well, they're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt while you're on the power play in those situations quite often. I mean,
and not if you continue to do it too. If just one crossover, okay, you're fine maybe.
Yeah.
But like 3, 4, yeah, you're toast at that point.
Well, don't take your foot off the gas here. It's 4-on-4, and it's centered. And a shot block for Swift. And that hurt. That hurt Rubley. She threw a little stick in as Gottslick intercepts that pass. Dumps it back ahead. Pass across the middle. Comes to Nimigers. Picked ahead from her. Keller's away. Keller's got Thompson with her, and her pass is out of Thompson's reach. Now Keller gets it back again. Crosses to the middle, all the way to the other side again. Oh, what a move! Keller missed the net. Oh. Shot by Perlinger. Hits off Thompson's stick and then covered up by Slamp. That'll negate the high stick that would have been called against Swift. And with 30 seconds left on the McNinch penalty, 4-on-4 for another 30, then 22 seconds of Wildcat power play time. Minute 27 left in this frame.
Metzger won that draw too cleanly. The puck got out of the zone.
Here's Perlinger. No one to pass to, so she'll just dump it. Schmidt after it. Knocked it away from Watane. Controlled for Regina by Molly Flynn. Pressured by Watane. She threw it up the middle, and Metzger tried to make a move before shooting, and John stayed with her. Shot from the point into the corner by Buffard. Handled now by Schmidt. Feeds that to Petford and stolen away by McNinch fresh out of the box. 3-on-2 Swift. Metzger tried to center it. McNinch to it. Ripped a one-timer wide of the net by the time she got to that puck. And that'll do it for the very brief Wildcat power play as McNinch jumped on it out of the penalty box for a 3-on-2 that set her up for a one-timer. And not a lot of room to make that one-timer count as Slamp knew the shot was coming.
She hammered it hard wide on the glove side, though. She got a lot of stick on it.
There's been too many missed nets for Swift in this game. As the puck's dumped in, down the stretch we come, 40 seconds left in the period.
Especially from a critical area like that, Sean. You're point blank, there's nobody really impeding you. And
here's a rush by Swift. Oh, Regina gets a crossbar on the backhand by Hayhurst. That was unbelievably close. You don't see too many chip backhands like that as it's driven from the point wide of the net by Carpin. A beauty. Now Swift's got numbers the other way. Swan shooting, and she misses the net. Swift trying to fine-tune their shots. When you look now as the buzzer runs out, the shots are actually almost even, 21-20 in Swift's favor, and puck possession's got to be about 66-33. So it tells you which team is getting the pucks to the net when they have the chance, and right now, which team isn't doing that quite enough.
There's a lot to dissect in that period.
I mean, there's two examples right there. Is, a play where Regina doesn't have much, and Hayhurst is still able to put that off the bar.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe the best scoring chance of the period because it's the one that beat a goaltender but ended up not beating iron, and one that looked seamlessly non-troublesome when it was occurring, right? And then
on the other side, you get point-blank chances.
Two of them.
And Swift's got to find a way to get there to the net. We spoke with Blake both in between periods, and for the possession advantage they have, the shots should be 30-20 instead of 21-20, and it feels like a Wildcats team that's trying to pick corners right now, feeling like that's the way they have to beat this goaltender, and their better chances have come putting the puck in her feet and trying to find a rebound, and somehow that's got to get through in this situation because they're playing great hockey, but
they've been the better team by far at 5-on-5. If you take away the power plays in this game, the shots would be like 15-5 or so.
Yeah.
In Swift Current's favor.
And I think their last two power plays have been very effective. Moved the puck well, generated chances, but they're just not hitting the net enough. And, they had 21 shots so far, so it's not like they haven't got pucks there, but it's not equal to the amount of puck possession, without a question here. So, I mean, that's not a simple thing because no one ever tries to miss the net. As much as anyone, will watch from the stands and go, hit the net. Like, there's not a player in the world that shoots intentionally wide or high. But something has to happen in the mentality of how they're shooting that allows them to create more traffic and more second chances.
I wonder if they need to be looking lower too.
Oh, I mean,
right?
Yeah, that's what
when,
they've been
when
saying.
When they're missing, it's high and wide, and then
Yeah.
you're getting almost nothing out of it. The puck's either rimming around and Regina's getting a quick out, or it's killing play when you have a slot chance and you're missing high and wide.
But sometimes that's a reflection too of what the defense gives you. I mean, it's easy to say, the coach can tell you 100 times out of 100, we want low hard shots. We want low hard shots. And then if you're Regina, you're going, they want low hard shots. So the way we defend them is going to take away the low hard shots. So if they're going to have a lane to shoot, it's going to be high. And that's what they want to do because they know their goalie's strong there. So, what are the players seeing? They're probably seeing a better lane for a high shot than a low shot. But that's translated into, too many missed nets and the ability of goaltender Peyton Slant to kill plays by catching and holding pucks. So, neither team's going to be too upset going into the intermission in a scoreless game. They both played well. Swift's had the better of the puck possession. But in a series where goal scoring for the Wildcats in particular has been at a major premium, somehow those chances have to turn into shots. At least a bigger percentage of them do.
And no better time to start that than the third period. I mean, we saw it in game 2. And it was like one half of the ice wasn't even played on.
And the Wildcats have not had many good second periods. And
that
was a very good one.
Right? And
I think
they
were the better team.
Yeah, that's fair to say. And they were the better team in the first period, completely aside from the 4 minutes of power play time. 3:53 of power play time that Regina had with the 7 seconds of overlap on the 5-on-3. So I mean, you take that out, and Regina's only at 10 shots. That 4 minutes of power play time there. So, and Alexis Petford has not been burning you to this point, nor is Hayhurst, who had their best chance there on the backhand, nor is Henderson, nor is Gerard.
They've contained them very well. And again, outside of that power play sequence at the end of the first, I don't think too many plays you can call to that were grade A scoring chances outside of, a couple around the net in that second period. Like 2, maybe. So 5-on-5, I think they've maybe given up 2, maybe 3 legitimate scoring chances against in the game against a lot of skills. Like, you got to be real happy with that. They've had more than that, no question, the other side. But
they had that in the last minute and a half, kind of with. Well, I guess one was on the power play.
But we're talking about this from a Swift Current perspective. If you're a Regina fan watching this at home right now, you're up 2-1 in a series. You're on the road in Game 4, and you got the game to the third period without giving up a goal and a scoreless tie. I mean, isn't that what the road team wants to do, right? Like, we know Regina's got a lot of skill, but they're the road team. The road team has played a tight-checking, low-scoring game heading to the third period with one shot available to win the game. I mean, that's the game plan for a road team. So, as much as Swift has played a good hockey game so far, you're not unhappy if you're a Rebels fan either.
No, especially when you have Petford and Henderson and Gerard and Hayhurst that can take that one shot and potentially it's game over. Regina's had 5 periods now where they've held the Wildcats off the score sheet.
And that starts to wear on you a bit. And then you're talking about, why are they missing nets? Why are you fine-tuning shots? Why are you trying to pick corners? Because the puck hasn't gone in yet.
And it hasn't for a while since the Game 2 overtime winner from earlier right in front of us here. So
you're starting to second think. Have second thoughts. Overthink. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. There's about 8.5 minutes before the puck will drop for third period action. It's a do-or-die Game 4. Regina leading the series 2-1. Nobody's found the score sheet yet. You're watching Swift Current Wildcats hockey on Amateur Sports TV.
At Collins Hotel, we have you and your family's comfort in mind. Relax in one of our 16 suites featuring king or queen-size beds and 36-inch TVs. Suites also include a mini fridge and other kitchen appliances to make your stay as comfortable as possible. During your stay in Pilot Mound, visit Weiser's Restaurant, our attached family-friendly restaurant and bar. It is the perfect location to host group meals, dine with the family, or unwind after a hockey game. Come in and meet our friendly staff offering daily specials on food and drinks, Wing Night Wednesdays, Buffet Fridays, and multiple TVs to watch the game. Weiser's is the place to be. Collins Hotel and Weiser's Restaurant and Bar, located across the street from Blackjack Stewart Arena off Highway 3 in Pilot Mound.
Yeah.
David Zanet back here at the Fairview West Arena, joined by Sean Mullen, and a game that has a pair of donuts on the board in the goal department for both teams, and a critical one if you're Swift Current, if you're looking to extend the season, and obviously a critical one if you're Regina as well, as it's a closeout game for them, and both teams are obviously looking to move into the provincial final. A really, really big third period here, and obviously the biggest third period of both teams' seasons so far, and specifically if you're Swift Current looking to extend the year.
It's tough to score in the playoffs, and Swift Current's learning that. They didn't have any playoff action the last 2 years, and now they're really getting a taste for it. It's been now 5 straight periods without a goal for them. 0 for their last 9 on the power play. Their last 51 shots have been turned aside. That's going to weigh on you a little bit right now, and the pressure continues to mount on them. That said, as we get deeper into the game now, if you're Regina, as much as they haven't done anything wrong yet that's cost them, they also realize that Swift's 1 shot away from forcing a decisive Game 5 and putting the pressure back on them. So maybe that's starting to creep in their heads a little bit. You start the game, you're playing without too much pressure on you. As it goes along and you haven't pulled ahead, then that's starting to come into your mind a little bit. How does the idea of a Game 5 at home weigh on your mind? So everybody's going to start to feel that now. The emotions ramped up. The energy's ramped up. The mistakes are more costly. Everybody's pretty anxious getting set for the third period.
Now the pressure thing, to go back to it, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe Regina feeling it a little bit more is a good thing if you're Swift Current here. Knowing that if you don't get it done here, if you're Regina in the third period or overtime, you got to go back home and win at home now. So maybe a little bit of pressure. I know they're obviously up in the series and they can lose this game. They can lose this game in the series. They're still alive. But there is a bit of pressure starting to build in the back of their mind too, right?
And you never want a chance to slip away.
No.
You don't want to have that opportunity to make, to finish it off, get to the next level, and give them life. I mean, Swift has won games in Regina. Just because they haven't in this series yet doesn't mean they can't. So this third period, it's a big one. And it's as jam-packed as the Fairview West Arena has been for any Wildcat game so far this season. You can feel the energy here. You can feel the nervous energy. And as much as we've still got 20 minutes left to play, how tough it's been to score, you can't help but think and wonder, is it next goal wins? Are we at that stage yet? And when we come back, third period action on ASTV. We're back. Third period action, seconds away. Do or die for the Wildcats, and we're off. I'm Sean Mullen with David Zammit. And it's a scoreless game 4. McNinch for Swan. That's deep into Regina territory. Metzger had a stick on it. Now 2 Rebels draped on her in the corner. McNinch hoping to dig it out.
I'm not sure that puck's
Five-player
going to
puck
move.
battle.
Like, it's pinned.
And it is smushed. Play dead, face off deep. 29 seconds into the third period. Offensive zone draw.
That's always an interesting one. If you're a ref or a linesman, like, how long do you let it go there? But, I mean, that could have been blown dead earlier. It was pinned. Neither player was conceiving on that or allowing any room for the puck to move there.
Rip to the line there. Perlinger keeps it in. Bouncing puck. Glove down by Metzger. And
it was like a basketball tip off kind of there for a second.
Bouffard. Point shot. Redirected by McNinch. And Johns tries to clear that and will.
See, and that's what Swift Current needs, is a low point shot to the net that's tipped in tight by Metzger and gave Schlamp a bit of trouble as the rebound came off her and was also there.
Mind you, they'll take literally anything.
Right? Yeah, I don't think they're going to complain if they find the back of the net. You're not wrong.
There's Keller. Shoots, rebound! Oh my, that hopped just away from Jersey Watain. And an icing call against Regina. A hard ankle-high shot by Keller from the right wing. And the rebound would have required a baseball hand-eye coordination there from Watain, and she nearly got it.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but good start for Swift here again. They're getting chances early, so.
Here's Watain, curls off the draw, backhand towards the net, broken up, in skates, trying to take it away from Carpin. Sent deep behind the net, grabbed there by Godsleg, up the wall, and away come the Rebels. Pass up the middle, oh, and it skips just away from Hayhurst, who would have had a chance to get between Swift's D. Here's Keller. Thompson. Back for Keller, broken up. Flynn tried to take it back in, couldn't. Hansen's got it. Backhands that into Regina territory, not deep. Cleared back out, blocked. Bouncing puck. A little bit of a shove there.
Yeah, Henderson maybe got away with one.
Not quite enough for anything substantial. Hayhurst, tough angle shot. Grabbed her own rebound. Back to the line. Schmidt shooting. That missed. Henderson. Back to the point. Too much zip on it. Bailey couldn't hold it in. Appel trying to chase down Schmidt, who banked it ahead to center and dumped into Swift Current territory. Does the depth of the Wildcats play a factor here? Already into game 4, though they haven't played back-to-back nights as much as normal. This is a hard-fought type of game. And nearly a hit from Breakroots that she held herself off of throwing. Urich swats at it. Can't get control.
Is that a broken stick? Oh, it is a stick, yeah.
Regina into the zone. Breakroots centered it. There's Metzger away. McNinch and Urich with her. Metzger gains the line. Forced wide. Centers it off a skate from Johns in front. And covered up by Schlamp. As Metzger, I don't think, saw much else, so tried to catch Johns and Schlamp off guard with that centering feed off the skate.
Urich was going to the net there, but she wasn't going to be the intended target, I guess, as it instead hit a skate and almost went in. So Schlamp was lucky to stay tight to her post there and get that one.
Puck in the corner. Clearing attempt broken up by McNinch. Nice job just getting a skate in the way there. Swan trying to work it to her. Intercepted and cleared. Bouffard tried to get that back ahead to Metzger. That's broken up. Right wing side, Nimigears skates it in and lost her stick, but does get the puck in, and that's grabbed by and centered, and a loose puck. Bryce had her stick hit as she tried to shoot that. Girard, Ali Girard to the line, a shot. Blocked by Metzger, the captain getting in the way. Shot to the net there by Ali Girard, and the rebound comes to Swan. Swan's got room. Gets it into Regina territory, still has it. Swan wrapping around behind the net, still has it. Swift able to make a full change except for her. Down to Watane. Watane held up a bit. Thompson follows. She's bumped. Puck in the corner. Thompson. Watane, touch out, jamming at it. Thompson can't get the rebound. And Hansen has to take it back out.
Oh, it looks like the skate lace might have come undone on Schlamp here. She was kind of slipping.
That one's
yeah,
flicked.
She's lifting her pad. It's either pad lace at the back or skate maybe.
Here's Thompson to the net. And a good break up there in front by Regina's Emily Carpin.
She keeps talking to the ref when the puck goes out of the zone too. So
Thompson gets it deep. Swift making a line change. Here's Carpin. Flicks that to the Wildcat line. Buffard. Thompson couldn't get a handle on it. Henderson lost it. Followed up, though, for Regina and skated ahead by Gottslig. She'll shoot. And that one's caught and held by Carly Lehner. And it is an equipment issue for sure for Peyton Schlamp, who I'm sure is relieved that after that first came to light.
it was the skate because she tripped.
Yeah.
She tried to get up at one point and she fell right away. And then she looked down at her pad. So, like you said, she's probably happy to get the relief here. Is they're almost going to drop the puck and then realize that Schlamp's got her pad off and she's trying to fix her skate lace.
Now they're still working at that.
She's just putting her pad back on, so we'll be back up and running here in a second. 14:25 to go here in the third period, and a really, really interesting one.
Shots are 4 apiece in the third so far. And honestly, for the first time in this game, I wouldn't give either team the edge in play. I think it's been pretty even. Regina wins the draw that time, knocked wide. Maya Girard plays it. Now Hill. Grapefruits to the line. Shot wide to the net by Gottslig. Georgette can't clear it. Grapefruits. Wrap around. No room. And Grapefruits got dumped. Regina wants a penalty. Jones trying to clear and can't. Regina trying to change on the fly as Swift has their third line and third D pair out right now. And Wingert makes a great play. Wingert to win it. She's got Georgette with her. Wingert into the zone, and a good job cutting her off and forcing her to the outside by Daly.
Oh.
And then they both get knocked down. But that's really smart by Daly, preventing the pass out front for a streaking Georgette. Long shot. Whoa, whoa! Perlinger gets in the way of a race to the net. And I think she's going to get called for that, but
I don't know how you call a penalty on Swift there because Girard came flying at the net. Like
Ali Girard was heading to the goal looking for a rebound, but there was certainly none coming. And Perlinger got in her way and kind of got a stick on her, and then she flew into the post.
So who's getting Swift got the penalty?
It is Perlinger getting a penalty from what I saw.
How?
And Ali Girard, the captain for Regina, is in some serious discomfort. It's complicated here.
Like she was coming in at Mach 20 into the net. Like
I'm not sure what Perlinger is meant to do there.
Get out of the way and let her bowl into the goalie, I guess.
And at the same time, I mean, she did get the stick up, but the major point of the impact was going into the crossbar, I think.
It was, yeah. Hopefully she's all right. But I just don't understand what Swift was supposed to do there, because if Perlinger doesn't allow her or doesn't get in her way, she literally runs over Laner there and hard, too.
Well, that's what you're taught as a defenseman anyway. And now Regina to the power play for the fourth time. And their best scoring chances came on those first two power plays at the end of the first. Here's Henderson. They went 1 for 5 on the power play in game 3. Johns, shot off a skate. McNinch is on it. McNinch has some room to skate. McNinch gains the line. McNinch driving wide. And the puck is cleared back down the ice. And this is an icing call against Regina. Good pressure from Swift Current, forcing an icing against the Rebels. I know we're seeing a little bit of fuzz on our feed. Hopefully it calms down.
Looks like you got the Motorola Razr in. Shooting a little video action, are you? Jeez.
As we get the building full, I think sometimes it does have a little bit more of an impact on our feed. It's been more affected in the playoffs than we've seen in any other time of the year.
This has to be the biggest crowd we've seen all year as well, wouldn't you say, Sean?
Absolutely.
Like they're
jammed in everywhere.
Yeah, they're right around the boards, kind of everywhere. So,
and I've seen a lot of women's hockey players too, either former Wildcats or current Swift Current hockey players at younger age groups. As Swift will get a quick play to the Regina line there. 50 seconds left in the Rebels power play. Petford, Nimigears, the right point, cross to Petford, shooting! It's knocked down in front by Ali Gerard, actually. Metzger beat her to the puck, and the Wildcats going to clear. Great hustle by Metzger.
I guess that answers one of our questions. Is Gerard's fine because she's out there on the power play, but it was a rough collision as she pulled into the crossbar slash.
Oh, now another icing here as they try to catch Petford behind the D, and it didn't work.
Yikes.
That'll leave it down to 19 seconds on the Perlinger penalty. And Swift's penalty kill has been very good the last couple times out.
And that's maybe a bit of up-ice pressure that Swift Current's making there to
force 2 icings.
Yeah, right? So
Petford and Bacchus tie up. Play to the line and offside as Nimigears got it, but right at the whistle. 6 seconds before Perlinger's out of the box. 11:32 to go in the third. Still scoreless.
Looks like it's going to be a top-line matchup once this penalty ends here.
Nice job by Petford to get in the way of that clear. We're back to 5-on-5 as Hayhurst wraps around with it. Urich comes out off the bench. Shot from the point, deflected to the corner. Petford on it. Banks it back to the line. That skips away. Urich trying to get to it. Nimigears is going to beat her to the puck. Urich right on top, though. Good pressure from Urich, and that's cleared out. Gets away from Perlinger into Swift Current territory. Henderson, stick check by Bouffard. Stole it back. Bouffard knocked it off her stick again. And grabbed by Hayhurst. Avoids Perlinger. Oh, she had a path to cut back out, but didn't. Hayhurst again for Petford. Good stick on her by McNinch.
Yeah, really good stick by McNinch there. As Laner hadn't realized the puck had kind of emerged from the goal line to Petford, who had a chance.
Point shot blocked by the stick of Metzger up to Urich. Urich, open ice down the left wing side. She's been out there a bit, so I think a little out of gas. Threw it out front, and McNinch couldn't find the rebound as 2 players go down behind the net. Watane held it in for a moment, then couldn't. Good hard battle by Watane. She wins the puck. She's alone, though, as she re-enters the zone and got held up a bit. Blocked the clearing attempt, but it did deflect out.
That was really good work by Watane to allow Swift Current to get the change there.
And that'll be gloved and held as it rolled in on the Swift Current goal, and Laner will force a face-off. 10:06 to go in the third. Regina has had the last 4 shots on net. They have outshot Swift Current 8-4 in the third period so far.
We have some pretty big news. The Swift Current Pure Chem AA Broncos are off to a provincial final. They beat the Prairie Storm, came from behind in a best-of-3 series. They won Game 2 here in Swift Current in double overtime, and then they won in triple overtime in Balgoni today to take that series.
Sorry, which level is that?
Double A U15.
Oh.
The team that you saw a lot of in Edmonton.
Absolutely.
So that's huge. Pair of Swift Current teams will be playing in a provincial final, and we could have a third if the Wildcats make it there. The U13s are also playing in a provincial final.
Yeah, that Swift Current U15 team has got a ton of skill on it. A couple of players that are certainly going to get their names called in the Western Hockey League Bantam Draft. As the puck is backhanded deep into Regina territory, and Swift makes a line change.
It was Parker Rondeau in triple overtime.
Well, I'm not gonna say I'm too surprised. I saw him score 4 times in a game at a
Ooh,
that Edmonton. Nearly too many men there. Here's McNinch. Wrist shot and a blocker save made by Schlamp, as McNinch had a lot on that.
That was almost a perfectly placed shot by McNinch there, as you would have almost expected Schlamp to go down there, and it would have beat her mid-blocker side there, but instead she stood up and it hit her blocker.
More the Johnny Bauer approach.
The true stand-up style, is that what you're saying, Sean?
Yeah.
Not the hybrid
no.
stuff the kids are playing these days.
Dumped into Swift Current territory. Perlinger sends it up the far wall. Swan attacked by Petford, and Petford lost her stick. Here's McNinch into the zone. Has Swan with her. McNinch cuts to the middle, shoots. Rebound! Metzger going for it. Can't get it back to the net as that one is cleared out. Up the middle, and it's broken up by Bouffard as Hayhurst is trying to get loose. Banked back by Bouffard to the Regina line. Up the middle again, deflected in by Hayhurst. Metzger falls into the corner there against Hayhurst. Oh,
that's going to be a penalty against Regina.
A check by Flynn, and she's going to be penalized. And Swift going to power play number 5. Regina and Swift both 0 for 4 on the power play in this game. Swift 0 for their last 9, and Molly Flynn is off. I think that was a cross-check. We saw a big collision in the corner before that, too.
It was like 4 well, I guess 3 bodies down, but 4 in there kind of.
Ali Gerard is chatting with our official, I think trying to make the case that Metzger should have been penalized, as she tied up going into the corner hard against Hayhurst.
The linesman is not. He wants to drop the puck. Is Gerard not going to get kicked out of the draw circle here? Oh. Interesting.
Gerard did win the faceoff too, and they get a quick clear. Flynn in the box. Swift with 7:48 to go in the third. Power play opportunity number 5 to try and break open this scoreless game. Bouffard skates it all the way in herself. Oh, what a late offside whistle on that entry. And they'll take it back out to the neutral zone.
20 seconds killed for the Rebels here already.
And a quick clear again by Regina off another key Ali Gerard faceoff win.
This is, in a sense, an extremely high event 0-0 hockey game, in that there's been a pile of penalties, a lot of really good chances as well. Some big saves.
Bouffard in deep. Wrapping around, trying to find an opening. Pressure coming. Now she'll work it down for Swan. Now Swan works it back to Bouffard. Bouffard banked it ahead to Swan. Swan has a player on her. Didn't move it to the corner quick enough. Bouffard held it in at the line. Tried to go back to Georgette, and that's intercepted and cleared. And that'll probably do it for the second unit. As Bouffard goes back for it, the other 4 players head to the bench. 53 seconds to go on power play number 5 for Swift. 6:48 to go in the third. Nobody has found the net yet. And that pass into the skates of Keller. She'll try and turn with it at the line and skates it in. Nice job by Keller to get it into the zone. Now Keller in the corner, forced off the puck. They weren't able to get any protection there as that's cleared out, and Petford's coming after it, forcing Lehner to play it. She'll throw it up the wall, and McNinch is on that. 25 seconds now on the power play. Here's McNinch. Speeds into the zone. Tries to go wide, left wing side, and then forced to the corner. McNinch on the half wall. Slides it down to Keller. 12 seconds left on the power play. Hurlinger, middle of the point. Wrist shot. Rebound! And Watane can't find it. Center skates. Takes a swing at it. Grabbed by Keller. She'll wrap around. Keller slides to McNinch. Power play's done. McNinch shot it high and wide, short side. And that'll do it for the power play for Swift. 5:45 to go in the third. They're 0 for 5. 0 for their last 10. And the Regina penalty killers have had Swift Current's number in the last 2 games here.
McNinch had a great chance there as the penalty just expired, and she almost beat Schlamp upstairs where she was aiming, but just missed it wide.
Puck dumped off a Regina skate for an offside there. 5:24 to go in the third period. We have still not seen our first goal of this contest. And this has been the most even period of the game. Swift Current, the better of the play, I think, in the first and second. But this has been a pretty even back and forth third. Puck dumped in there by Regina. Rings around to the wall. Left corner, Petford gets a return feed. Ooh, and she tried a tough angle shot. That ricochets out to Urich. Urich to McNinch. Down the right wing side, McNinch. Good speed. Trying to go wide and get speed and get space. She got dumped in the corner by Johns. They'll let that one go. And Regina back the other way. Petford trying to get loose. And Metzger comes back to take that away. And Metzger's called.
What? Was that not just a puck battle that she won?
Interference is the penalty call.
After they didn't call the other one.
That's the tough thing is trying to gauge what is going to be a contact penalty. This one is called interference, so it's a little different. It wasn't the force of the contact so much. But she did have the puck. And Regina, a late power play. Great move, shot to the net. And a big save by Lehner. .151 to go in the power play. And the captain for Swift, a key penalty killer in the box as well. Power play number 5 for Regina. Each team's had 5. And Regina with the draw win. Late in the game, this is huge. Nimigears, passed off, shot redirected in front and a right pad save by Lehner on Johns. Petford tried to get it to the net, hit her own player. Loose puck, scored! Petford gets a stick on it, and it's a knuckle puck that floats over the left arm of Carly Lehner, a heartbreaker for Swift Current. Just sent towards the net, and Petford got a piece of it. And I don't know if there's any way that any goaltender could have stopped that, as it just kind of floated in the air over top of the left arm of Lehner.
I'm not even sure she really saw it or reacted to it a ton. That's really tough if you're Swift. Played such a good game, and then...
Well, it's not over yet, but now a puck into Swift Current territory with 4:05 to go is an icing call against Regina. And the mentality's got to change, and fast, for the Wildcats with 4 minutes to tie this game. All of a sudden, a period where you're trading chances and trying to make sure you don't make a big mistake turns into one where the Wildcats are going to have to get very aggressive.
We've seen where that's worked for them, though. And in this building just a couple games ago as well. So
here's Swan. Centers. Intercepted before it got to McNinch. And clear up for Regina. And Henderson will slap that in from center ice. That deflects to Swan. Swan stopped by Hayhurst. Now Swan after it again. Dumped in by Hansen. Wide of the Regina goal. Lots of time for Schmidt. Oh, she nearly lost that puck and nearly turned it over, but got it up to Flynn. And Flynn feeds it ahead to Hayhurst. Hayhurst cross ice. Good breakup by Rubley. McNinch fans on her clearing attempt. Gets it back though. And she'll clear. 3:20 left. 1-0 Regina. Chance to close this out. This is playoff hockey. As Hayhurst wins the puck and centers it. Petford again. Can't get loose. And Watane tried to lift the stick of Hayhurst and couldn't take the puck away. Shot, right pad save made by Lehner. Regina now trying to keep Swift pinned. And the puck gets away from two Wildcats as they miscommunicated who was going to get that one. Here's Ali Gerard centering it. Knocked away before Petford could shoot. And Keller will get it to the line. Not out. Schmidt shoots that wide. Time killed here by Regina in a big way. And now here's Watane. Cross ice Keller deflects it but can't control it. She goes after it against Schmidt. Wildcats changing. Keller gets in on it. Great play by Keller. In 1-on-2. Now she needs some puck support. Metzger coming to help. And Schmidt gets away from the pile with the puck. And she's able to escape and clear. Nice job by Schmidt there. Here's Petford again. Nearly got free, but broken up by Metzger. For Perlinger. Perlinger across for Swan. She's stopped at center by by Grice. Now Grice gets the red line. 1:49 to go. Grice into the zone. Swift needs to counterattack here as it's centered. Glove down by McNinch. Followed up by Swan. Lost it in the skates of McNinch. Swift's in trouble here as Hayhurst shot it off the blocker of Lehner. And now Perlinger tries to clear. Metzger tried to go cross ice into the skates of Hayhurst. Swift a bit out of sorts. Now with 1:24 to go, they've got to get it deep and get their goaltender to the bench or get a timeout here somehow. And back in comes Johns for Regina. 1:15 left. Johns happy to kill time. Played it behind the net. Perlinger after that. Good pressure on her by Henderson. Now Buffard. Good pressure on her by Henderson. Down the stretch we come. Final minute. Regina playing with the lead terrifically. Have not given Swift an inch. Now here's McNinch. McNinch into the zone. To the bench comes Lehner. And McNinch shot it wide. Keller after it. Can't get the rebound. Played to the line and out. Swift has not been able to get their timeout either. And here's Thompson up to Keller. Now McNinch. Keller to the net. Can't get a shot. Taken away. Behind the goal, Keller. 29 seconds to play. Thompson trying to dig for it. Here's Urich. Urich trying to get the puck loose. Urich back to the line. Perlinger with 20 seconds. It's taken away. And Henderson can seal it. She scores. Heartbreak at the Fairview Arena for the Swift Current Wildcats, who play one of their best games of these playoffs, but are not rewarded on the score sheet. And a late power play goal for Regina, and a fantastic 2 minutes defending that lead from the Rebels will lead Regina into the provincial final.
That might have been the Rebels' best 2 minutes of the hockey game, aside from a 4-minute power play in the first period. I mean,
3-4 minutes, really, actually.
Right? Like, they scored, I think, with 4 minutes. So
they're going to call that icing. We're going to have the one last face-off. Well, that was a great hockey game. And you hate to see a result like this for Swift to have it come to an end. Two excellent teams. A very good performance on both ends. And then Swift Current just couldn't find a way to score in the last couple games. Regina played.
Yeah, I guess it's six periods now. They haven't, since that overtime winner here.
Oh, my. And Thompson, a little shove right at the end to Hayhurst. But that's going to do it. The season is over for the Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats, who will console their goaltender, Carly Lehner, who was tremendous in this game. And there's absolutely zero chance for Lehner to stop the winning goal that literally hit off the stick of Petford in the slot and floated over her shoulder in a way that I don't think any goaltender could have stopped unless they were 6'7". And that's the kind of goal it was going to take in this game.
Yeah, Pavely's not happy with that call. And I don't blame him. It's a tic-tacky call in a game that kind of comes down to the line, and it's the difference.
And you can't cause that to take away from what Regina achieved. I mean, they did a tremendous job against a very good and deep Wildcats team of keeping them off the scoreboard for the last 2 hockey games, which is a very, very tall task. And Regina, a team known very much for their offensive weapons, played incredibly tight D to get this done. And give them credit for that. But, yeah, without question, a bitter pill for Swift Current. A late penalty seconds after a no call results in a power play goal at the end. But you can't give yourself, the reality is, and this is not a shot at anybody, but you can't give yourself that small a margin for error, unfortunately. And Swift had lots of chances throughout the game to find the net, and it just didn't happen in these last 2 games for whatever reason. They played a wonderful hockey game, and that's a very, very good Swift Current team that can hold their heads high and had a tremendous season. A team that beat Regina 4 other times this season, and it'll be a 5-4 Regina season series win. They had they beat Notre Dame a couple times. They didn't have the full firepower from 1 or 2 players the way that some of those, the first 2 place teams, top 2 teams in the league had, but they had a team game, and they got it done from 1 line through 4, 1 pair through 3, both goaltenders, and played playoff-style hockey all year, just 1 short in this game. And if you look back to the game in Game 3, if you find a way to score early, it's a different game. Or if you find a way to score early in the third, it's a different game. And the goals just didn't come in the last 2 here against Regina. And as much as it was a pleasure watching the Wildcats this year, you have to really give credit to Regina. It was a very good team too. And despite their offensive weaponry, they showed their ability to play playoff hockey the last 2 games.
Yeah, so a couple things to take away from that. I mean, them and Notre Dame is going to be a spectacular matchup in the final. I mean, Regina is a high-powered offense where Notre Dame is the Wildcats, essentially, that they have 2 really good goaltenders, and they're a really deep lineup. Now, Notre Dame can score a little more than Swift Current as well, so that'll maybe neutralize the offensive firepower that the Rebels have. Now, just to go back on the game, like you said, you can't blame the refs at the end of the day because you're in that situation. If you don't want that as your outcome, then do better in the time that's allotted before the game.
I mean, you can be unhappy with the call, but it's 1 goal, 1 call.
Yeah, the retrospect is you're not going to win a game if you don't score a goal, right? And the Wildcats kind of come up short in that department the last 2 games, and they certainly that they didn't try to get on the board here today. I mean, they had a pile of chances.
It's a shame. It's a shame to have a controversial call affect the outcome so late. When there's one that's let go in the corner on one side and one that didn't seem that significant called on the other, and that leads to the game-winning goal in the final minutes, and all of a sudden you don't have time, much time to answer. Like that's a real disappointing way for a game like that to end. But unfortunately, that's so often what happens in these types of games when it's so tight and neither team's able to find the score sheet, and it comes down. It very rarely comes down in a game like that to like a 3-on-2 picture-perfect break and tic-tac-toe. It comes down to like a puck that hits a stick in a bad spot or a call that goes against you at a bad time, and that's the heartbreak of the playoffs. It leaves you so little margin for error, and as well as Swift played, they were left with none, no margin for error late in the game. And I think from what I saw, we didn't see the games on the road. To me, that was the most complete game they'd played all playoffs until they got down. And then when they got down, it just seemed like the wind got sucked right out of their sails there. And Regina had the answers. They put the right pressure on at the right time. They defended wonderfully with that 1-0 lead. And it just seemed like and in a game where there were so many power plays, Swift's depth advantage is taken away. Because they would have played third and fourth line players more often 5-on-5. There's 10 power plays in that game. So because of that, and there was 10 power plays in game 3, the way the Wildcats were built to have any kind of advantage in this series. Because, 20 minutes out of the 60, worn out a little bit with the amount they had to play because of all the special teams time. If throughout the series you're talking about 4, 5, 6 power plays per game, Swift's playing 4 lines, and Regina's primarily narrowing in on their top 6, playing their third a bit.
Well, they only have 10 forwards, right? So they
then,
barely even have 3 lines, never mind a forward.
So then you really lean on them and have the advantage of your top players being fresher. That doesn't happen in these types of games. And then you give up a goal, unfortunately, on a total. I don't want to call it a fluke, but it's just one of those plays. You go to the net, you get a stick on it, good things happen. You give up a goal like that late, and then you don't quite have the juice in you that you would have had because of that.
I wonder part of that is that they played such a complete game, like you said, and they didn't have an answer for the goaltender at the other end for the 6th straight period, and we only have 4 minutes to save our season.
Well,
and not only do we got to beat her once, we got to beat her twice, whether it's in regulation or and I'm sure that wasn't the exact mentality, but I'm sure that was in the back of their mind in a sense.
It wears on you doubly if you feel like it wasn't a penalty that should have been called, which of course you can't help feeling like in their spot. And then it's late in the game and you give up a goal, and it was one you couldn't have done anything really to defend because it just deflects off a stick. I mean,
they did defend Petford, right? And it just a flutter puck that
it was an awful break.
Yeah.
And ultimately, while it's a 3-1 series win for Regina, you look at the season series, you look at the games themselves, there was so little to give between these two teams throughout the year. Regina gets the win, and they're a deserving team to go on to the provincial final. But Swift Current was right there with them, right there with Notre Dame, and a wonderful season for them. And we don't want to go too deep into this, but obviously heartbreaking for the Wildcats players and their family and their fans and the coaching staff. But for us, it's been a complete pleasure to be able to follow this team, a very classy organization, from the coaching staff to the volunteers to the families to the billets, and especially the players themselves. A very hardworking bunch, a team that played with a lot of heart, that never gave up on games. And it was both David and I and Matt, our pleasure to be able to call these games and follow this team throughout the season. And we know there's a number of players graduating and moving on to the next level now. And it's one of the great things about this Wildcats program, how many players they advance on to the next level, how many players graduate to college and continue on their hockey career and get their education because of that. So we want to wish all those players well. We won't name every individual one because we don't want to miss them, but they have committed themselves to this program and to this community, and throughout some very challenging times with COVID throughout the last 3 seasons, and the impact that's had on them and the effect that's had on their experience. So we say thank you to them and kudos to them for their wonderful career and the wonderful time that they spent in Swift Current, and wish all of them well as they move on to the next level, and look forward to seeing the returning Wildcats next season, as they are year in, year out, be right in the thick of things, in the mix among the best teams in the league because of the consistency of this organization.
Yeah, just kind of want to echo what you said there. It's been a privilege to follow the team all year, and a team that was, right there at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
A puck bounce maybe their way, and they're headed to a Game 5 to go to a provincial final, but obviously the Cards didn't play that way, but it'll be interesting to see what team they have back next year. And we'd imagine they'll be right in these games next year as well. They
always are.
Right? They're always in playoff games, and then they're normally in the second round, if not the provincial final either. So
yeah, it's a team that's been remarkable from their consistency in on-ice success and in advancing players onto the next level to continue their careers in post-secondary. So congratulations on another wonderful season for the Wildcats. It stings now. I'm sure everybody's disappointed, but they left it all on the ice. They played great. They represented the organization and the community wonderfully. So kudos, and thank you for having us along for the ride. For everybody back at the ASTV studios, thank you for the support on that side. Thank you to Matt for stepping in a couple times for us. David, it's been a pleasure to call games with you again. We called games together for the Swift Current Broncos like 5 years ago, so it's been fun to do it again, and it's been a blast. So thank you very much to the Wildcats and Amateur Sports TV for making this possible. Hopefully we can talk to you again next year. For David Zammit, I'm Sean Mullen. The Regina Rebels are off to the provincial championship with a 2-0 win in Game 4. This has been Swift Current Innovation Credit Union Wildcats Hockey on Amateur Sports TV. Good night.